the fuck? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Alrighty, welcome back, guys. It is Isaiah Aneni. This is the Game Time Gazette, your favorite place for all things sports. I'm glad to have you guys back on another day with me. A lot of things have gone on in the sports that we watch: soccer, baseball. Oh, baseball's coming back. Baseball's coming back on Thursday. I say that prefacing what I'm about to say next. Um, yeah, Shohei Ohtani. He came out, had his press conference. I guess long awaited press conference. Everybody's been trying to, hear what Shohei has to say, right? Obviously the whole Ipe, um, the whole Ipe situation. It's something that he had to address. He had to address because he couldn't just, not say anything about it, right? And he had to address it. He had to address it. He came out on Monday night. Let's just get right into it. He came out on Monday night and he said, in a press conference, for the first time, blah, 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 blah. Let's give some preface. I guess let's start with the initial story. So the initial story surrounds the allegation surfaced. This was last Wednesday morning in South Korea, while the Dodgers were in the middle of a two-game series against the Padres. Before the first game in Seoul, Mizuhara spoke to ESPN and claimed that Ohtani had wired money to the illegal bookmaker in order to cover Mizuhara's debt, which was a reported sum of at least $4.5 million. Mizuhara later backtracked and said Ohtani had no knowledge of his gambling debts. Ohtani recalled that before the opening game against the Padres on Wednesday, Mizuhara approached him at the stadium asking him to speak following the game. I was told by Ipe, let's talk one-on-one in the hotel after the meeting. So I was waiting until then, Ohtani said. Mizuhara addressed the Dodgers inside the clubhouse following their win that night. And during the address, Ohtani said that he was confused, explaining that it was the first time that he heard about Mizuhara's gambling debts or his claims that he had willingly given him money in order to pay off the sum. So already there, we're getting a little bit of it's very confusing right now at this point in the story. It's very confusing. So it starts. Ipe Mizuhara. Ipe Mizuhara is Shohei Ohtani's translator, ex-translator, close friend, supposed to be close friend. So basically, this is just the first part of the story. So first part of the story, Mizuhara, he realizes that the bookmaker and him are under watch by the feds. Obviously, gambling is illegal in some states. Gambling under an illegal bookmaker, somebody that's not regulated by the United States government or whatever government. A legal bookmaker. Whoever Ipe Mizuhara was betting with was an illegal bookmaker. Already there, a case for the feds because we're just thinking about IRS and things like that, taxes and things like that. That was $4.5 million. It wasn't 20,000. It wasn't. I mean, 20,000 is even a lot to bet, but it wasn't like $1,000. You know what I'm saying? It was a $4.5 million. And for those that do bet, you know that you have to do taxes for some of that. Like it's not just for winnings, losses, all of that combined, right? So even just disclosing that amount being, oh yeah, I bet $4.5 million last year. Because first thing was, how did Ipe get the money? Ipe first said that it was Ohtani that paid him back, or that paid the debt for him. Ohtani willingly knowing that that this was what the money was for. There's not a lot of things that $4.5 million could go for. You know what I'm saying? That just straight on the dot, $4.5 million Ipe, here you go. So let's start with that. We're not speculating anything here, but let's start with that. Okay. And then he backtracked. Mizuhara, I guess. Yeah, let's. So Ipe backtracked. Ipe backtracked and claimed. What did he say? What did he say? He backtracked and he said that Ohtani had no knowledge of this. Okay. So first thing he said was that Ohtani did have knowledge of this, knew where the money was going, knew it was a gambling debt, knew it was his gambling debt. And then he backtracked again next day and said Ohtani had no knowledge of this gambling debt. And then the way that the whole day went while they were in South Korea for playing the Padres. Obviously, they're doing the preseason tour right now, playing the Padres. I guess that's when he got tipped off that, the Feds have this information, they're going to come at you now. Ipe, right? And he had to, obviously, the MLB finally was informed, Dodgers were informed, and he probably, so then he tells Ohtani, hey, could we talk after the game? Just me and you one-on-one. And then boom, after the game, I guess Dodgers, maybe somebody in the front office, maybe somebody, whoever, decided to tell the team because they probably got serious, right? And then, so up until that team meeting, quote unquote, Ohtani said, I didn't even know Ipe had a gambling addiction and was in debt. I never agreed to pay off the debt or make payments to the bookmaker. Once Ohtani and Mizuhara got back to the team hotel, Ohtani said the two longtime friends sat down and talked through the situation. While Ohtani didn't get into any specifics of that conversation, he did walk away understanding that Mizuhara had taken money from his bank account. All right, I have two questions right now. All right, so now this is from Ohtani's words. Mizuhara is obviously all over the place saying Ohtani did borrow money, he didn't borrow money. Ohtani did know, he didn't know. Mizuhara's all over the place. But this is Ohtani's words. This is what Ohtani is saying. Ohtani is saying that up until that team meeting that the Dodgers had after the Padres game, he did not know that his friend was a gambler. He did not know that his friend was a bad gambler, that his friend was losing money, and he was in debt for $4.5 million. What can be said, though, or what can be asked from this is, how did Mizuhara get in touch with Ohtani's money? How did that even happen? That's my big question. Obviously last week on the GameTime Gazette here, before we had any type of information, I think it was on the Wednesday that it happened. Like, we just reported it. We reported it as it came. The report came, and I reported it as it came. I didn't even have any information really. Just knew the FBI was involved. Knew it wasn't the MLB that started the investigation. It was the FBI. It was serious, right? So, but now we're getting a lot more information. Now it's from Ohtani's words. He didn't know his friend was a gambler. Didn't know his friend was a bad gambler. He gave his friend $4.5 million. Confirmed that it was Ohtani's money. I don't think it was a speculation, but honestly, for me, I don't know the rest of the people on the internet, but honestly, for me, I was waiting for more. I was waiting for, okay, it was Ohtani's money. It was this. Okay, this is how the money was got. This is how this, because at first it was Ipe Mizuhara stole $4.5 million from Ohtani without Ohtani knowing this and that, But Ohtani willingly gave Mizuhara the money. He just he didn't know that it was for gambling, which is weird because there's not a lot of things that you pay $4.5 million for. A car, maybe go buy a Bugatti or something. Like, what cars cost $4.5 million dollars nowadays? There's a few for sure. A car. Why would Ohtani just give Ipe money for a car like that? A house, for sure. Real estate investment, something like that. Hey, I'll pay you back after I get the returns type of deal. Or Ipe Mizuhara, Ipe just straight up told his best friend, longtime close friend, like Ohtani said himself that these guys, like, he's his best friend. Like, he's the one that he brought from Japan he's the one that came with him to the States, and it's like, anybody could have came with him to the States and been his translator, to be honest, the way it's looking, because Mizuhara, it's just, all he knew was Japanese and English, to be honest. It's not even that, like, oh, he had credentials, he was a previous translator, he was just Ohtani's friend. So, speculating again. But he could have Ohtani could have very well knew. But it does kind of cast a shadow on everything, because it's like, if he didn't know up until that meeting, how do you just give for? I mean, yeah, Ohtani is a billionaire. Yeah, we know this. He just signed a $700 million contract, had a few $100 million contracts with the Angels, endorsements, all of that. We know this, but you're just gonna give Ipe, even though he's your best friend, close friend. I understand. Just gonna give him $4.5 million, no questions asked. And I want to be Otani's friend. I would love to be Otani's friend. I'm not gonna lie. That seems like a great gig, man. Great gig. Okay, let's finish off the story. Because even though it seems like I'm stretching it more than it is, right? I'm speculating a lot as well. I'm trying not to, but I'm speculating for real, because even with the information that was given, Ohtani didn't really say much. Like, where did the money go then? Where did the money go? These or not, where did the money go? We know where the money went. Why did you give the money to him? Like, what was the reason? Like, if you said you didn't even, like, you didn't know about the betting or anything, so $4.5 million gone. You knew about it though. Not that he stole it. The stealing part. You see, this is why the stories just don't, it's not adding up, because the first story ever reported was Ipe, the translator of Ipe Mizuhara, the translator of Shohei Ohtani, stole $4.5 million from Ohtani. Stole. Why would that be? You know what I'm saying? Just so many things that are not coinciding. And honestly, in my opinion, this is why the internet is going mad with Ohtani was involved. Because it just doesn't make sense. And okay, I understand. Ipe is the liar. Ipe is a liar. We could just blame it all on Ipe. But it seems like this whole story has more than just one liar involved. Like, it seems like this whole story is trying to fill in some holes that just can't be filled with the lies that we have on hand. And that's a very interesting thing, where we talk about the MLB wanting to put this under the rug as quickly as possible. Obviously, they can't now. It's public knowledge. FBI won't just let it go. I mean, $4.5 million to an illegal bookmaker. Taxes, all these things still need to be sorted out for sure. But the other part of it all is, hey, what if they really find some? Hey, man, that's the only thing. I'm not going to incriminate Shohei Ohtani on here, but if they find something that incriminates him, it's going to be hard, because Shohei's not giving a straight up story. As much as he thinks, or he wanted to come out here and do that, this is not a straight up story. This is not a straight up story. Ohtani didn't address how Mizuhara gained access to his account, or why the former interpreter first claimed that Ohtani willingly let him money to pay back the bookmaker. Though he did say Mizuhara never revealed to me about the media inquiries. He also acknowledged that his talk with Mizuhara at the hotel led to him reaching out to his representatives with questions surrounding potential theft. When I was able, wait, hold on. Maybe I didn't read it right. When I was finally able to talk to my representatives. Okay, so maybe I was wrong. It's saying here, Ohtani said it was revealed to me during that meeting. Ipe admitted he was sending money using my account to the bookmaker. Okay, let's get to this. When I was finally able to talk to my representatives, that's when my representatives found out Ipe has been lying the whole time, and I started contacting the Dodgers and my lawyers, Ohtani said. And the Dodgers and lawyers found out as well that they have been lied to. My lawyers recommended that since this is fraud, we have the proper authorities to handle this matter. In the end, Ohtani wanted to reiterate that he never made bets, especially not on baseball, and that, of course, is an important distinction. It's tough. It's tough. My final little bow that I want to put onto this is, even if you want to speculate that Shohei Ohtani, without the information that I just gave you guys, these are from Shohei's own words, quotes from Shohei's press conference from last night. Even if you do want to speculate that Shohei Ohtani was involved, you gotta do so carefully, because even as much as you think, I'm on here asking, I honestly asked that question, how did Shohei not know, where did the $4.5 million go? because there's not a lot of things you could spend $4.5 million on one time for. But he said he wasn't aware. He said that eBay had access to his account and was using using his account to send money to the bookmaker. My last question, speculation, of course, and I said, it's hard to, but like, so if eBay, the translator, man, these guys must be best of friends, brothers. If eBay, the translator, man, he's not even his accountant, none of that. The translator had access to Shohei's bank account, brother. Bank account, $700 million bank account. That's gonna, like, what are we talking about? I don't know. Obviously Shohei wants to make it seem like he's this guy. Like, I don't know how celebrities move with their money. I don't know how athletes move with their money. But I can't believe there's this. It's hard for me to believe and not speculate that, okay, if you gave eBay access to your account, that eBay cannot be the only person with the access to your account. Your accountant had to, definitely, probably the accountant and his lawyers. It's not just eBay. If his accountants and his lawyers had access to his accounts, then why didn't anybody else see this happening before it got reported and said, oh, yo, Shohei, you gave $4.5 million to an unknown? Who is this? Your accountant would definitely ask. Okay, cool. Only eBay has your account. Why does only eBay have your account? It really rides on the speculation that you, Shohei Ohtani, were using eBay, Mazahura, to bet on different sports, even if it wasn't baseball. Because you were a smart guy, trying to not get caught and trying to not have all of this on your name. Because eBay comes out and this story is 35 in 35 places, and it doesn't have a starting point, doesn't have an end. Nobody could follow it, of course. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you come out and it's like eBay did all this. He had so much access to your life, Shohei. It could be true. But just eBay? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things aren't adding up. When the MLB concludes the investigation, when the FBI concludes the investigation, right here, come back right here on the GameTime Gazette. Just like we broke it on when this started on Wednesday, this last Wednesday, we'll break it again here on the GameTime Gazette to keep you guys updated. I wanted to get to, everybody better nowadays, man. Everybody. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And this one, if this one is real, you NBA fans probably heard it. It was a Woj bomb. Don't get a lot of those anymore. Don't get a lot more Woj bombs, Especially because there's a lot of guys on Twitter doing this, Shams, all of this. But this one right here was a Woj bomb, Woj exclusive, posted it out. The NBA is eyeing Toronto Raptors Jontay Porter for betting issues. I seen the headline, man. I get notifications. I get Raptors notifications, bro. So as soon as it happened, I seen it. This was my face. Straight faced. What is wrong with this guy? What is up with this guy, bro? Jontay Porter, if most of you don't know, he is the brother of Michael Porter Jr. on the Denver Nuggets, the NBA champions, the reigning NBA champions last year. Most of you know who that guy is, Michael Porter Jr. A bunch of you probably don't know. If you're not a Raptors fan, if you're not, Michael Porter Jr. fan, whoever, probably don't know who Jontay Porter is. Jontay Porter is Michael Porter Jr.'s younger brother. Yesterday, he got into news he would not. Nobody ever wants to be in this type of news, because if you are, more likely than not, they have something, man. They have something, and it's like they're investigating them more fully, because when there is smoke, there is fire in the NBA's eyes. But they don't just suspend you, and they don't release these type of articles and such of speculation. Not the NBA still. Not the NBA. Not the NBA. And as a role player, as someone that doesn't get 20, 25 minutes, someone that gets like 10, 15 minutes a night, maybe 20 on a good night, you're gonna look much, much more credible because you're able to manipulate your props by saying, hey man, I got an injury, this and that, obviously taking bad shots. Hey man, bad shots sometimes go in. So like that's not really the thing, but there are some shots out there that like there was one shot the other night. He took a throw up three that went in. They put the camera on Jontay Porter's face and he was finding it hard to smile. I'm not trying to say that he did do it, but it was like maybe he was tired. We were getting slapped, so it was like, that three really didn't matter still. Maybe that's the reason. And that's how I, as a Raptors fan, was looking at it. Because it's like, let's get into it. So Toronto Raptors forward Jontay Porter is under investigation by the NBA following multiple instances of betting irregularities. Damn, I just brain farted on that word, but multiple instances of betting irregularities over the past several months. Multiple sources told ESPN on Monday. I mean, multiple sources is crazy. At issue are prop bets involving Porter from games January 26th and March 20th. Multiple sources told ESPN, an NBA spokesman told ESPN that the league is looking into it. In January 26 against the LA Clippers, there was an increased betting interest for the under on the under for Porter props, which for the night was set around 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. There was also an over under for Porter's made 3-pointers, which was half. That evening, Porter played just 4 minutes before leaving the game because of what the Raptors said was an aggravation of an eye injury he had suffered 4 days earlier against the Memphis Grizzlies. Porter didn't score a point against the Clippers, had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and he didn't attempt a 3. So if you're reading that right, the under hit on all the props. The next day, as part of a daily report to users on betting results, DraftKings Sportsbook stated that the under on Porter's 3-pointers was the biggest money winner for bettors of any NBA player props from the games that evening. Porter played 19 minutes 2 days later, scored 12, 7, and 3 assists. On March 20th against the Sacramento Kings, Porter played just 3 minutes before exiting because of what the Raptors said was an illness and did not return. He did not score after attempting 1 shot and had 2 rebounds. His over-under was set at 7.5, 5.5, 7.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. The next day, DraftKings Sportsbook reported in a media release that Porter's prop bets were the number one moneymaker from the night in the NBA. At least one other U.S. sportsbook detected unusual betting interest on the Porter's props in the game in question. A sportsbook industry source told ESPN that multiple betting accounts attempted to bet large amounts, upward of 10,000 and 20,000 on Porter unders in the January game against the Clippers. As you bettors know, betting limits on any NBA player props vary by sportsbook and customer, but are typically around 1,000 and 2,000. So we're talking 10 times the amount that would usually be bet on a player prop. Despite you being a capper, despite you being this or that, like you usually bet $1,000 to $2,000 on a player prop max. I mean, $2,000 is a lot on a Jontay Porter player prop, much less $10,000 or $20,000. This guy's an idiot. Like, if this is true, this guy is an idiot, man. Oh, man. People were trying to do whatever they could to bet Jontay Porter props against the Clippers, the source said. And then just a few days ago, the same thing. We had a bunch of people trying to bet the under for more. Porter, the brother of Denver Nuggets star Michael Porter Jr., is on a 2-way contract with the Raptors, earning $415,000 this season. He missed the Raptors game on Saturday against the Wizards for personal reasons. We probably know what the personal reasons are now. Because he missed the game yesterday against Brooklyn for personal reasons. Raptors coach Darko Rajakovic said that he became aware of the investigation shortly before Monday night's game. I never doubt injuries. I never doubt honesty from players. Darko said. Obviously, I've never had a situation like this one before. He added that he had not discussed the matter with his team. I don't know the reaction. I just know nobody wants this kind of attention. Those kinds of situations to happen to anyone, to any team. We just got to deal with it. Ale, 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 ale. Yeah, it's very disappointing, man. Very, very disappointing. Jontay Porter was a guy that I think I came on the GameTime Gazette, but the first time I seen him, I'm like, hey man, he's not a bad center. I like the way he plays the game. I feel like he could be a nice backup center for the Raptors, at least third string center for the Raptors in the future. He's young as well, cheap as well. But he really did a Maz on his name with this one. I mean, like you just read the article and you just there's not a lot to convince you that, like, obviously it's a very vague article and it's just telling you, all right, these are the instances that we suspect, or the NBA DraftKings suspect, that Jontay Porter, friends, family, relatives were betting on this game. And these are the reasons why we suspect that he was involved with it. I mean, that January 26th game against the Clippers, we got slapped. Yeah, cool. But what's not, it's like you read it and it's like, I was watching Get Up this morning and Tim Legler came on and he said that it's easier for a role player to be able to do this because just think about it, man. It's not, you did have an eye injury 4 days ago. And then you come and you're thinking about it. The Raptors are tanking as well. Oof. There's so much factors, man. But this is a very stupid decision if it was true. Simple thousands of dollars, temporary thousands of dollars. This guy thought he was going to finesse the system at the end of the day, if this is true. For at the end of the day, you could have made millions more with the NBA. He would have been on the Raptors next season. Like if this doesn't happen, he would have definitely been on the Raptors next season. I mean, not definitely have to put in the work. He's still on that two-way contract, but he wasn't bad. And he's the type of build the Raptors are looking for a center that, could contribute. He could shoot the three, he could play defense. Very disappointing, man. Very disappointing news because it seems like they have some against him. Like they have some evidence that, like, he actually did this. Multiple people doing their best to get tens and $20,000 on Jontay Porter props is, yeah, of course they'll flag it, man. Jontay Porter, I didn't even know they offered Jontay Porter props anywhere, man. Like I swear I've gone looking one time and I didn't, like, I couldn't find it. Granted, this was on the score, but yeah, of course they'll flag it. Who is betting $10,000 and $20,000? I mean, granted, it's on the under, so it's not like, oh, man, bet on yourself and bet the over, man. This guy took bet on yourself so literally, and he didn't even do it properly. Like, bet on yourself and take the over, bro. This guy took the under of all his props. Like, come on, bet on yourself and go score 20. Go get 10 rebounds. Go get 10 assists. This guy bet on himself and took the under. You can't even respect the way he did it. Like, you can't even respect it. It's just disappointing. It's a get him out of the league moment, man. This is the next Pete Rose thing. This isn't even like... This is things that, I mean, what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about, bro? Sometimes, like, in the thing about the whole NBA betting, this and that, and now regulators as well, that was a big conversation, right? That regulators would use this as another point of emphasis on why betting should not be in sports leagues. That's been a real big point of emphasis with regulators. I mean, you go on the news and regulators are saying, Why is it everywhere? Why is it on the side of the bus? Why is it on the bus stops? Why is it on, you open your phone and you have a million FanDuel commercials. You open your phone, you have a million DraftKings ads. Like, why is it like that? And then you go to Scotiabank Arena, you have a million FanDuel ads and a million DraftKings things and a million old DraftKings promotions at halftime. And then, it's just obviously the NBA is thinking that players would be smarter end of the day and know that they're going to get way more money long term from them than doing short, stupid term decisions like that. But this begs the question, like, as much as people like it, as much as people enjoy to do it, how valuable is betting to sports that, like, it's like you have to advertise it everywhere, that it has to be in the players' eyes everywhere? I mean, the other day, Tyrese Halliburton says that he feels like he's looked at as a prop. The game just doesn't feel as authentic anymore, bro. Even when you're thinking about, oh, yo, I'm going to watch the NBA game today, it just doesn't feel as authentic anymore. Even the thought of, oh, they rigged this game, the authenticity is gone. It's gone. And then you get stories out like Jontay. What is going on? There has to be this is why regulators, like, you hate them or love them, they're correct. There has to be a line drawn in the sand, NBA, MLB, NFL. I mean, we're talking, all these leagues have the same type of controversies. Shohei Ohtani is the biggest baseball player in the world. Bro, that 90% of it's not even, bro, it's not the 50s, 60s, not even the 90s anymore. 85 to 90% of the public does not know who most baseball players are. But if you tell them, oh, yo, Shohei Ohtani, they might know him. I'm not saying they will. They might. They'll have a better chance of knowing him than Fernando Tatis. You know what I'm saying? Or Vladimir Guerrero. Maybe in Toronto, you know of Vladimir Guerrero more. But I mean, you get what I mean. He's their biggest star. Betting is just everywhere. Like, oh, bet with us, bet with us, bet with us, bet with us, bet with us. They didn't relax on it, and they thought their players wouldn't do it as well. There is a reason why the old heads like Adam Silver, I don't know who the other MLB commissioner is or whoever was before. I don't know who was before Roger Goodell. Maybe it was Roger Goodell before. I don't know. But that's why the old heads, like, I swear I just said his name. David Stern, the ex-commissioner of the NBA. That's why he didn't play around. That's why he didn't allow none of this betting thing. Obviously, it was a different landscape. It was a different world. But David Stern did not play around without this betting things. If David Stern is the commissioner of the NBA right now, I don't think betting would be, allowed. Even if it is allowed the way it is, I don't think it'd be as prominent as it is, where everybody feels like, oh my gosh, Vegas is booking the games. It's like this and that, like the game. I don't feel like that, man. It feel like a more disconnect. It feels so connected right now, betting and sports. Bro, why do I feel like my game, like I'm watching the Raptors play against the Nets, and why do I feel like man's are, but like, bro, it just feels unauthentic. It doesn't feel like the game. What happened to the game I love? You got Jontay Porter, you got role players out here not understanding. I mean, at the end of the day, can you blame them? They think they're smart enough. You got Shohei Ohtani out here as well. They think they're smart enough to burn the books. Can you blame them for thinking that? With the way all the information is out here, I mean, you can't blame them for thinking that. Maybe I'm not asking it correct. But can you, like, what is the real, like, are we blaming the players or are we blaming the sports leagues? Like, I don't know how to ask this question properly, but like, bro, there's a reason why regulators are saying it shouldn't even be involved with sports at all. It shouldn't be involved with sports in the capacity it is, for sure. It's way too involved right now. Betting is way too connected. I mean, I'm on the NBA freaking site and BetMGM is getting this is crazy. An authorized gambling, a gaming operator of the NBA. Like, bro, why is it on here? Why? Why, NBA? Why? This is maybe this is why, players have this, oh, maybe if I tell my mom or I tell my cousin or if I tell my friend, I give him 10 bands, give him 20 bands, and he does it on this one night. This is why. You're doing it to yourself. Why is it so connected? It's too integrated. You got to show, man, like, you gotta, I mean, if every single sports league, it's not just the NBA, MLB, NFL does it. NFL has guys that are betting in the NFL games too. Crazy. The cold Isaiah Rogers, he's on the Eagles now. Isaiah Rogers, bro. He was caught betting. He did get back on the Eagles because he wasn't caught betting on the NFL. He was caught betting on, I think it was basketball or something. I don't know. But it's like, why? It's because you put it out there and said public is allowed to do it. Players, like, it's because of that. The players are finding different ways to, hey, man, they got millions of dollars. They just want to do the same thing because regulated the same way. They're seeing the same commercials. They're seeing the same things. Especially the younger players too, Jontay Porter. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're all seeing the same things. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I understand the argument with the regulators. I understand the whole, it should not be this integrated, man. It's everywhere. Even if betting was allowed and this and that, like, you're able to bet as a normal person, not as a player, as a normal person. There shouldn't be advertisements like, bro, like it's food, like it's McDonald's right here, BetMGM, DraftKings. It's just so much. You go watch the game, 35 gambling ads. You go on to the bus stop, gambling ad right there on the side of the bus, gambling ad on the side of the bus stop. It's too much. And the players are getting involved. The players are getting succumbed to this. It's too much, NBA. It's too much. It's too much, MLB. It's too much. It's too much, NFL. It is too much. I'm going to leave it there. I really just don't know what else to say. Like, you guys tell me what you think about it. Obviously, I might be in the minority here. And I promote bets sometimes here on the GameTime Gazette. You know what I'm saying? I do it too. But, like, we got to look at it objectively. It is way too much. And the players are getting involved now too. It feels like the game's like integrated with betting. Like it goes hand in hand now. Like it doesn't feel like the game is authentic. It's a one of its own. Like whatever happens in the game, it doesn't matter to the betting, but it feels so integrated. It feels so integrated that it feels like Vegas has their hands on everybody's games. That none of these games are authentic anymore. And then you got stories of Shoei Ohtani, the biggest baseball star in the world, and his interpreter betting. And then you got Jontay Porter betting on himself and his unders and this and that and telling other people something. You got the speculation enough is too much. What happened to the games I love? You guys tell me what you think down below. I sound like an old head here, but I feel like that, my strong opinion, I feel like is valid. You guys tell me what you think. I could go on for another 20 minutes, man. It's been Isaiah. This has been the GameTime Gazette. As always, tell me what you think about this episode. Leave a comment, leave a like. And just see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Jesus loves you as well. Don't forget that. Always remember that. And as always, peace.